Welcome to the Real Estate Doctor podcast. This is our first ever on location, and we're at a friend of mine came down on vacation here in Aruba, and we're doing it at his Airbnb. So we're on location. It's a little bit muggy, so forgive us if we're a little sweaty, but welcome to the podcast where I'm going to inspire, educate, and entertain you. And today I'm thinking we're probably going to entertain you more since we have drinks and cigars and stuff like that. So welcome to the podcast, but you will get a lot of great content and education. And without further ado, I want to introduce Mike Zaslav, who Mike is he looks like he should be in a Miami movie. But Mike is a longtime friend of mine, probably 20 years or so, close to 20 years. Yep. And I'll let Mike introduce himself, but I want you guys to get a feel of, us and how we know each other. So you were starting, I was wondering, I forget how I met you. But Mike, if you want to talk about, let's talk about how we met each other. Yep. And kind of how you maybe progressed into what you do now, which yep. I still don't understand what you do now.
I don't either.
And I'll
get into it.
Mike, you are like literally, I always tell people, I'm like, I don't know, he does everything. He can do anything. But one thing I want to start the podcast first and saying, and I truly mean this really deeply from my heart, he's the only person I say this about. You are the only person I know that if you say you can do something, you can do it. 100%. I've never, ever seen you say, I can get this done and not get it done. And you've said such extraordinary things to me that I thought there's no way this guy's going to get it done and got it done. And you do it with such ease and grace. Really, you're a special person. And so please remind me, because I must have been drinking when I met you.
You were.
How did we meet each other, and how did you develop into what it is that you do now?
Well, first of all, thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm here for a vacation and a mastermind. I came here with a group of entrepreneurs where we're here on the island. We discuss ideas, we discuss businesses. We're in 5 different fields, and part of this vacation is to get together and discuss ideas. And I moved to the city like around 2005.
What city?
Philadelphia.
This is a world podcast.
That's right. I moved to Philadelphia like around probably like 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And the first summer comes around. I moved around fall. The first summer comes around. I don't really know anybody in Center City. I come downstairs to the pool. There's Jay, just hanging out, having a drink. I just sat next to him, and we started chatting. Mike, what do you do? I was doing commercial finance at the time. And I said, what are you doing? Well, I'm buying like half the fucking city. Like, what do you mean? Well, we're buying properties all over Philadelphia. We're selling them to Israel. We're selling them to London. We're doing this. We're doing that. I'm like, what? Right? So we met. Then we're like, yo, let's walk over to the river deck. It's like, I don't know, 5-minute walk. We went over there. We had a bunch of drinks. We ended up having a bunch of mutual friends. So we ended up hanging out there, and we just started talking about like what you do, what I do, and it was very interesting. What you did, I've never heard of. I'm like, what? Buying, flipping properties, fixing them up, all this stuff. It was very, very new to me. I learned a lot. Then I think I came to your office maybe a week or two later, and I started like I'm looking at the board, like all these addresses, all these zip codes. I'm like, what is this? You're like, oh, these are the houses that we're about to acquire and flip to this guy and this guy and this. I'm like, what do you mean flip? Oh, well, we're under contract. We got these buyers, we got these sellers. We're gonna flip these properties. We're gonna fix them up. We're gonna sell them. We're doing all this stuff. I'm like, wow. And I go, well, I'm financing a bunch of properties. I have a bunch of investors. I'm actually financing these types of projects. Why don't I ask a couple of my guys? Maybe they'll be interested in this program you're doing, this process. It's pretty interesting. Next thing I know, I'm doing mortgages and I'm flipping properties. I had guys guys come in like at the time like how much is a house? 50,000, 60,000 all in.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
what?
insane.
This is like
Yeah.
crazy prices. And like, what? How much are taxes? Under 1,000 a year. What? You know, and next thing I know, I have guys that I'm doing financing for, and I'm bringing them inventory from your office. Pretty interesting. And then we started from my end. I evolved into a bunch of stuff. I started buying houses myself, all types of real estate, and it's kind of like where we ended up. And then you ended up going to Aruba for a couple months a year. I ended up,
So Mike has no clue,
I
know
mean,
what happened for 15 years.
Yeah,
So
it's
all right,
a lot going on.
I'll break it down. So, well, I mean, I remember that we lived in the same building.
Yes.
And it was a great building on the river. And I mean, it's not Miami, so it's not like, it's not that kind of river, but it's a nice river, has a view of the Ben Franklin. And we had a lot of mutual friends. And so we connected. And over the years, I'm going to ask a little bit about you, but I had to proactively ask you what you were doing, and almost I felt like every year you were doing something a little. It was always in the
Yes.
real estate,
Yep.
commercial finance industry.
Yep.
But you were evolving every year. So we put a bookend on this, like where we're going. I always joke around. I don't know what you do, right?
Yep.
I know what you're capable of,
Yep.
but I don't know what you do.
Yep.
How would you describe to somebody what you do right now? And then I'd like you to explain how, what experiences have helped you evolve to that, and what niches
Yep.
that you're trying to serve.
Yeah. Well, let me just back up like a little bit. So with commercial finance and just meeting new people and financing businesses and commercial real estate, I started going to conferences, and I started meeting all these new people. And let me just give you an example. I walk by a booth, and there's this person there with all these fancy brochures. I'm like, what do you do here? We finance equipment. What do you mean you finance equipment? Well, if a dental office has to open up a dental office, they need like a couple $100,000 worth of equipment. We can finance that. Interesting. Cool. I'll take your card. Sure. Great. Go to another booth. Hey, what do you do here? We factor invoices. What does that mean? Well, every business has cash flow problems. Many of them, like most of them, always cash flow problems because they're always late to get paid. I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, if you fulfill your job or your service, and someone is paying you in 60 days or they're late on paying you, we can actually get you that money in a week, and you don't have to wait 60 days for a fee. I'm like, that's interesting. Take your card. And I started slowly learning like all these different finance processes and methods and programs. And from there, I continue to finance small businesses. We do SBA loans. We do commercial mortgages. If someone goes to buy a used car lot, they have to finance a business. There's a business there. So they're going to buy the real estate, but they need money for inventory. They need money for employees. They need money for just operating costs. We can actually do financing to finance their operating costs for the first 90 days. So right now, we've sort of evolved into just like a one-stop shop in small business finance. And one of the niches we just got into was, you're a small business, you've been operating for 2 years or longer, and you need money, which is most businesses. We are able to do all types of different financing to get you working capital. For example, someone actually called me this morning. Hey, Mike, we just got done about $170,000 worth of work, and I have payroll this Friday, but I'm not getting paid till next week. I need $30,000 this Friday to pay my payroll. I got to pay my guys. We have a program in-house where I can get someone $30,000 in 24 hours. And they can pay it back in a week, in a month, or in 6 months. We have all kinds of setups, depending on what you qualify for. Then we have a program where if you're a small business and you need a term loan, because you are hiring more employees, you're buying more, equipment. You just need working capital. We can get you term loans with the SBA anywhere from $50,000 to $5 million. And again, depending on what you qualify for, all kinds of different programs set up. SBA wants to give small businesses money. And I actually can't, I myself cannot believe some of the programs they're rolling out. They're basically printing money. A new program just came out. It's called their SBA Express program at a bank. If you have been open for 2 years and you have $100,000 worth of gross sales, it doesn't even matter what you do, and you have a 700 credit score, you can get a term loan for $150,000 in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Unheard of. I mean, it's unbelievable. In times like these, like economy's not.
And that's from a bank. That's, from a bank. Basically the SBA bank.
SBA bank. I'm signed up in 48 states to do SBA loans all over the country. People call me now, like people that I financed a real estate now call me like, hey, I need some working capital. Boom, we do that. And then we get that done. They call with something else. Hey, I need equipment financing. I now have healthcare companies that are struggling to get paid from the government. They're getting paid late. So we have been advancing them money against that receivable to help them cash flow. What else? I just recently had someone where they were trying to get the Express SBA program. They have, $500,000 in sales a year, open 5 years, everything's perfect. We pull their credit cards are maxed out. They're at 694 credit score. They cannot get this. They cannot get it unless it's 700 minimum. Like they will not do it. There's no exceptions. Okay, so we came up with a product where it's like a credit booster. We can boost their credit within 30 days. It's not a credit repair. It's a credit boost. It's like a credit hack. We get them up to like 720, 730, 3 to 4 weeks, and get their SBA.
And then apply.
Yep.
First off, I like that, in social world, everything's a hack. So
everything's a hack.
Credit hack.
Yeah, credit hack.
Credit hack.
Yeah, it's a credit hack.
So to summarize, a couple of questions. So to summarize, you're a small business. What are you? A small business consultant? Small business?
Yeah, small business finance consultant, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
And I still can never get this down after all these years.
Yeah.
But you don't advertise anywhere.
No.
Right. So how do people even know that you do this?
I truly, I really truly follow that 80-20 rule. I think I'm more like 90-10.
Okay. Hold on. Not everybody knows what the 80-20 rule is.
Yep.
The 80-20 rule is called Pareto's Law, and it says that, you get 80% of your business from 20% of your clients, and it works in nature. It works almost with anything. You get 80% of your headaches from 20% of, your women. I'm just kidding. Or men. So go ahead with the 80-20.
We found a niche product that works. Everyone needs money, and I would truly say probably 90% of my business comes from 10% of my network, and it's all referrals. We tried some advertising on Google, on Facebook, on IG, but on LinkedIn, I have probably 10,000 followers, and I do a LinkedIn ad here and there. But no, I don't really want to deal with strangers. We're dealing with a pretty niche product. I don't even want people's personal information. So if you're a referral that comes from one of my referral sources that I've done business with, it's a warm lead. I feel more comfortably even working with you because I know I'm going to. First of all, we charge broker fees. I want to get paid, and I have never had any issues. Getting paid from people that are referred over. And I like dealing with people that I know, or at least one off of someone that referred someone over to me. We pride ourselves on doing really good work, which is why we get a lot of referrals.
Okay, so just curious because it can be yes or no. If I referred you people, would you talk to them? You don't. I know that you're busy and whatever. So. If the real estate doctor gives you a lead, will you talk to them?
100%.
Okay.
So anyone,
just not 10,000 people.
So he's done. So he has referred a couple people over. Some of them have been spectacular, but the ones that haven't been, we're still treated like a VIP client. Okay. What I do is I'll take a 5-minute call and I'll put them in the right direction. So someone that does not have a business or thinking about doing a business. They run it by me. They're like, hey, I'm looking to do this and that. I need some money for this and that, or I'm looking to do that. And I actually tell them, like, yo, this is not a good idea. Like, just come up with something else. This is not, I've seen this before. It's not good. Or they tell me a great idea. I want to do this, and I say, look, this is great. When you get started, generate some revenue, and then call me. And then I'll be able to get you a term loan to kind of, expedite your business, take it to another level. Because if you get an injection of 50 grand or 150 grand into your business, you could do many great things. But you have to know what you're doing. You don't want to think about what you want to do, then get 100 grand, go through that, and then you're left
Right.
in debt.
And I will say that Mike is always like, yeah, I can get this person money, but they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yes.
And that's dangerous. So Mike is very...
You don't want to be in debt. You don't want to be in debt if you don't know what you're doing. There are companies out there, they're doing something called like credit card stacking. So their ad goes like this. We're able to get you $200,000 in business funding, no experience necessary, no credit necessary, no this, no that. I won't do it. I don't want to give money to unaccredited investors, even though I can, and I can make a lot of money doing it. I'm not interested. I don't want to deal with, I don't want to call from a person a year later, oh, I got stuck with $100,000 of debt and I got screwed over. I won't do it. If I feel you out and you know what you're doing, you're heading in the right direction, I will help you. I'm interested in helping.
Okay. And I will say that Mike has always helped anybody I send over there. Sometimes he doesn't do the business with them, but he gives them great ideas.
Put him in the right direction.
And he's a great businessman. So if you do get the chance to talk to Mike, please do. Now, you said something that, I just want you to elaborate on. You said everybody needs money.
100%.
Okay. But does everybody need money?
So most of our country is not self-employed. So there are, the core of this country is, working for someone, and they get to go to work every day. They make money. They have medical insurance. They have their 401k. They go on vacation. They're very comfortable. And to be honest, like with money, you get a lot of stress. So it's not for everyone. So if you need money, you need it to go to work. If you don't know what to do with it, then I guess you don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, you need it to work. Like, you're not borrowing money to buy a Ferrari. You're borrowing money to invest it to make money.
You got to put the money to work.
Yeah. So some people think this is self-evident that you collect money to have the money work for you.
Yep.
But having children, I kind of get to realize that it's not natural to do this. It's natural to receive money and consume, receive money and consume.
Yep.
And what I tell my children, which I thought, I wish was told to me when I was a child, was, look, in the beginning of your career, you're going to have to trade time for dollars to get money. Well, you need to stack that money so that you can invest that money so that that money can make you babies.
Yep.
So that you don't have to work because your money's making you money. But a lot of us in the United States, earn money, spend money, earn money, spend money. And that's what you're saying. That's why you don't want to lend to just anybody. You want to lend to people that have good, sound investment ideas, and it will help them.
And there is a small percentage of people that listen to you, that actually listen. They hear you, but they don't listen. And the ones that do listen, they take their earned income, they invest it into real estate, which is the best way to invest money. I mean, I've sat with financial advisors. I've sat with people that try to tell me, no, the market does this and that, but they forget the word cash flow. When you buy a piece of real estate, there's nothing in the world that you can invest in where you have $100,000 and you can leverage a bank and get a property for $400 and turn that into cash flow and get a monthly cash flow every month. Go back to the same, fix up the property a little bit, raise the rents. A couple years later, come back to the bank, pull all your money back out, and buy the next one. And by the time you're 45, 50, 60, you can have as many properties as you want. You can be aggressive, you could be less aggressive, but at the end of the day, if you own, I always say, if you have 10 properties by the time you retire and they're paid off, you don't really need anything else to retire. I don't care who you are. You're good.
Look, the real estate doctor agrees with this. So actually, because we've had these, I don't even know what they're shots of. I thought we were going to have fun here, but you got so serious. And then, so let's do this.
Off.
I'm not going to do like a full shot. So what is this here, Mike? I guess we
One
don't.
of
We're not getting paid for ads yet. So.
One of the mastermind guys actually got this at the airport. I don't, to be honest.
So we don't know that it's anything special.
It's a nice
I'll
little.
tell you how it tastes.
It's a nice little bourbon.
All right, I'm not gonna.
To good health. To good health.
Damn thing. To good health.
Nice.
Got a little. That'll put some pep in my step for the afternoon.
Yes. It's good breakfast.
Yeah. All right. So let me. You got into real estate. Talking about real estate just there.
Yeah.
And I felt, kind of bad for my followers here that we weren't talking too much about real estate. But investments are not just real estate, and what you marry finance with the real estate. So let me just ask you some real estate related questions. So,
Sure.
Do you own real estate? What's your strategy with real estate? Let's start with that.
Yeah. So my dad and I, we invested in single-family homes in Philadelphia in the early 2000s. And one of the strategies, we come from the Russian community. So everyone that we knew was buying Section 8 properties specifically, because the way it was sold to us was like, hey, you buy the Section 8 property, you get a you get a maximum rent, you get a maximum market rent, and you get your rent on the first of every month, and it's headache free. You don't have to worry about collecting rent. It's great, it's headache free, and you can just keep buying them, stacking them, and collecting rent. Like, okay, this sounds like a great idea. We got one, we got two. This is great. We're getting our rents every month. This is wonderful. Then we get something called a Section 8 inspection. So my dad's like, yo, let's go. Let's go, we have an inspection. Let's go check it out. I'm like, okay, we got to meet the inspector. We come in the house. Like, we have no reason to be in the house throughout the year because we're getting our rents every month. It's no headache. We'll get a call here and there like, hey, this broke, that broke. No problem. Like, the guy comes out, fixes whatever is broken. We're good. Come to the house. The kitchen cabinets are, like, ripped out of the walls. Every door in the house is broken. I don't know why we put a fridge in there with an ice maker. The guy had like an issue with the ice maker. We're like, we were nice to put the ice. He's like, guys, look, I suggest like don't do ice makers anymore because if it breaks, we're not gonna pay you. I'm like, okay. We're walking around the house. We're like, we asked the tenant, like, what the hell happened in here? Oh, I got a new boyfriend. He's he's an asshole. He's this and that. Destroyed the house. I go to the Section 8 guy. I'm like, wait a second. If you guys are funding this property, like, isn't the tenant responsible? They're like, yeah. Would you like to make them responsible? Then we won't. We'll stop funding them. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, Dad, I think we have to cover this. So like, it was like $4 or $5 grand. I forget the exact amount. Now we got to fix this property, and put it back. And the strategy was like, okay, well, the real estate doctor strategy here. We can't make this too nice. We have to expect that at the end of the year, this is going to get destroyed, and we got to put new doors up and kitchen cabinets up, and just don't make it too fancy. Okay, great. We ended up buying a couple more. We have like some 6 bedrooms in Germantown, which is like a pretty nice neighborhood in Philadelphia. And for every bedroom that you have, you can get more rent. So we have a high rent at most of these properties, but they actually do come with a headache. So if you don't want to deal with too much fixing up of a property, maybe Section 8's not for you. So we just evolved from that, and we have some houses that are not Section 8, and the Germantown properties that are like huge houses, we have Section 8 properties. We have some mortgages, some are already paid off, and we collect a monthly cash flow every month. As I meet people, I'm learning that it's as you evolve and you own properties and you save up some money, you might want to own, a quadplex or an 8plex or maybe a 20 unit because one roof is better than 20 roofs, and we ended up investing in a couple deals where they're larger sizes. We came in with some partners as we evolve and learned a little more. So, we own an apartment building now. As a matter of fact, we also owned an apartment building that we had the real estate doctor sell to one of his investors. I forget in which country. Yeah. That was back in the day, which ended up great. So I would say the foundation of everything I invest in is real estate. That's the safest bet. Yeah, I have some 401k, I have some IRA, but I can't rely on that. Real estate's just the way we do everything.
Okay. Man, I can unpack. You don't realize what wisdom or a lot of people watching this might not own a property. So let's talk about. You started with Section 8. So would you buy a Section 8 property tomorrow?
Yes. The only reason I say yes is because we're so experienced in it now. I mean, we have like repeat inspectors. Like we know the guys.
Yeah.
And we know what to expect. We no longer have an ice maker in our fridge because we learned from our mistakes.
Right.
And it's all mistakes. Like once you start, in the beginning, when you buy these properties, you make a lot of mistakes. Every time I talk to Jay or I hear Jay talk about buying properties in lower income neighborhoods, do not make them too nice because it will not bring you additional rent. So we know exactly how to fix them up for the next tenant. We know how to turn them properly. And at the end of the year, we already know exactly what it's going to cost to fix. And if we don't have to fix it, then it's a bonus.
Okay. So, but to be clear, when you started in real estate and all the other Russians were like, Davai, let's go.
Let's go.
You thought it was going to be all roses and peaches.
Yes.
And then you got the inspection and it wasn't what you expected, but it still makes sense.
Still makes complete sense because we bought. So you ready for this? We bought our first Section 8 property, all in, $60,000 in Germantown. 6 bedrooms, Section 8. I want to say the rent at the time was $1,700 a month. So do I care? For taxes, $1,000 a year. Do I care that at the end of the year I have to put $5,000 because it was complete? I mean, this thing was destroyed. I thought one of the kids jumped out the window.
Destroyed,
how
much money?
Probably $5,000.
Okay, but that's not destroyed.
Okay, sure, but I thought.
No, but see, you got to realize you're talking to some people who are like, oh my God, they bought a property for $60,000. They got to put $60,000 into it. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
I'm talking about like maintenance cost.
Okay,
pretty much. We had one house, like, we come in, the front window's, like, broken. Like, what happened? My kids were having catch. The kid jumped out the fucking window.
Oh, my God. I have so many jump out.
What happened? I'm like, what?
Okay.
Like, my kid jumped out the window through the window. I'm like,
if you were talking to anybody else, I would say that's not true. So hold on. Let me tell my story one time. We got a maintenance order for a property, and I remember in Philadelphia, it was on Grat Street, 4500 block. And they said there was a broken window in the bathroom. And so I go to the house, no. I don't know if I went to the house. But when we spoke to the tenant, we're like, hey, how'd the window get broken? Well, I was sitting on my porch, and somebody ran in my house, ran up my steps, and jumped out my bathroom window. I was like, come on, man. But there are...
All makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense.
All makes sense.
I mean, there are some interesting things that happen. But with all that, it still makes sense to buy real estate.
So we bought the first house, I don't know, 05, 02, I don't remember. Somewhere, it was like 20 years ago. Something like that. Since then, the rents have gone up. The property's now worth like $350. The rent's now like $2,400, I think. I got to check with my dad. $2,700, something like that. Again, it's a check every month. We now have a tenant in there that's been there probably 10 years. It's an older lady, super nice lady, and we know her and we maintain her. We call her every month, make sure nobody's jumping out the window. If she needs help with something, we take care of her. We just say, look, take care of the house, treat it like your own, and we'll take care of you. And it's been great. And now, if I wanted to sell the house, it's worth 6-7 times what we paid for it.
Yeah.
So it appreciates, and you get a cash flow every month.
Oh, listen, you're speaking my this is what I like. So now, you said another thing too. You said, and you know what? Let's light up these cigars because I think we're gonna be here for. I got a lighter.
Oh, by the way, let's say I wanted to get aggressive. Well, now I have a piece of property that I paid $60,000 for. I don't know what it's worth, $350, $400, whatever it's worth. I can go to the bank, take $300,000 against that building, and go buy whatever the fuck.
Hold on, do you pay taxes when you do that?
Look, I listen to all kinds of people now that mentor me. They say, I'm rich because I borrow money. I mean, this is like, it's like a going theme.
But the answer to that question, when you refinance the property, it's not taxable, right?
Refinance a property, you don't pay taxes. It's a loan. It's not an income. So now you got $300,000 in your pocket The rental income pays the bank for that loan, and you're free to do whatever you want. Developers that will go build a 100-unit apartment building will refi at the end of the whole process. They'll take cash out as their income for the project. They'll take $500,000 cash on top, which tenants pay for. That's my bonus. That's for doing my job. And they don't pay tax on that money. It's unbelievable.
I know. So, I was going to ask you, and I'll let you light the cigar. By the way, are these special cigars? I didn't ask. I didn't bring mine.
Of course they're special cigars.
Okay. They're special cigars.
I'm in Aruba.
But we're not being sponsored, so we can't say who they are. Don't show this, So, listen, Mike and I are good, big cigar guys. We've always been. Actually, man, I can just go forever with this. Actually, I'm going to ask my camera guy, Sam, let me know when we get to like 45 minutes or, an hour. We're at 30. Okay. So when I say, Mike, I don't know what you do, it's because every time I go to meet you, you say, meet me at the cigar bar. Yep. And he literally sits at the cigar bar, and he knows everybody in the cigar bar.
Yep.
This is the attorney general. This is this guy. This is that guy. And I'm like, I don't really care.
Cigar bar is interesting.
And he sits. But when I say he's at the cigar bar, he's there at like 10:30 in the morning. Maybe he's got a bunch of kids now, so I'm sure he doesn't do that.
Too many.
Yeah, he doesn't do that as often. But that's why I didn't know. I do know what you do. But
I bring my laptop. I bring my laptop to the cigar bar. It's great.
Oh, try to feel like you're working there.
Yeah, but I take a. You know what? Like when it gets real cold outside, like in Philly, it's like 20 degrees. I take a break for a couple months. Like I kind of stop going. I take a break from the cigars.
When I lived in Philly, you can't smoke a cigar. Well, first off, your wife doesn't want you smoking a cigar inside the house.
No.
And you definitely don't want to go out in 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
No.
Minus Celsius, and smoke a cigar. So I didn't smoke as many cigars. But when I live in Aruba, it's like every day. And this is not a nice day, guys. If you look, this is not a nice day in Aruba. If you are compelled to smoke a cigar.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, anyways, I want to get back to you said. I think, buying property is good, if you have some houses paid off, blah, 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 blah. And then, I won't lead you with the question. So, do you believe that you should pay off your property or not? Well, let's start with this.
Yeah.
Let's start with your personal residence, which I believe is different than an income property. So, in your personal home, do you believe you should pay it off or not?
So, for me, absolutely not. I have a mortgage, which I pay every month. And any additional income that I have, I invest. Either it's in real estate or there's a couple other things that we do. We lend money. We do hard money loans. So
you don't look like a guy that would lend money.
I personally, for me, and this works, I take my commission income, I take my earned income, and I invest it. Whether it's real estate or whether we lend, we also do hard money. So I'll lend it out at for an interest rate, against a piece of real estate. And I would rather take $100,000 and I'll give you an example. Someone comes to me, hey, we need a hard money loan or a quick bridge loan against a duplex. We need $100,000. No problem. We'll give them $100,000. Let's just say it's a 13% rate, 3 points. So I'd rather make $13,000 on $100,000 than prepay my mortgage and get the balance down by $100,000 where I have a super low rate.
What's your super low rate?
Okay, so in this market, I got very lucky. My rate is only 4.875. That's my real rate. If I bought my house 1 year earlier, I would have been at 3%.
Right, but still, it's a low rate.
It's a fairly low rate compared to the market.
So I just want to. I actually asked this on my last pod because actually one of the I get flack for this, right? And I guess so I'm going to ask you, if you have a personal residence and you have a low rate and you have the ability to earn more money safely, I would say, safely, you think it's better to not pay off the house and use that money to earn more income?
Yes. For me, yes.
Okay.
For someone that just does not know what they're doing, because I just see so many of them, I would tell them to go pay off your house and just live debt-free. If an opportunity comes up where you know what you're doing and you're around people that know what they're doing and they're giving you the correct information, and it's a safe investment. You could get a line of credit against your house and use your house as a bank, which is a great vehicle, by the way, and go invest that money into whatever it is you're doing, because still the home equity line of credit is a much lower rate, hopefully, than what you're going to be.
And you lending me hard money.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So, and look, this is 2 pods in a row, and I think it's important. Look, if you're not a savvy investor, and you don't know what you're doing, you should pay your house off. But
100%.
if you are going to take that money, reinvest it in something like real estate that I believe is very safe, then you should make money with that money. So, but it's to each their own. There is no right answer, and that's probably why you answered it for me.
And I have a crazy story. I get a call from one of my bankers that does my commercial, at a bank. He's like, hey, we have a loan that we can't do. We are not really doing investment warehouses right now. We're more comfortable with owner-occupied. Talk to this guy, see if you have a good source for him to purchase a warehouse.
What's an investment warehouse?
So when you're buying an investment property with a tenant that's going to pay you rent every month, that you're buying that for investment. If you're a body shop and you're purchasing a warehouse for personal use, or I'm sorry, your own business use, you're occupying it. So this bank felt like they're more comfortable with that body shop and an owner-user scenario. So I call these guys, and I'm like, hey, John. Actually, the guy's name is John. John gave me your number. He wanted me to talk to you about financing this warehouse you're looking to buy. And these guys are actually big players in warehouse in Philadelphia. They own over 2 million square feet. It's insane. And they're like, yeah, we're looking to purchase. We were going to use John, but he's sort of tapped out right now. The economy's a little weird. Rates are crazy. We want to do this deal. And I said, hey, you guys have the money down? You guys are all set? They're like, no, we're actually raising some money. I'm like, okay. I go, look, I have a source for you guys to get the mortgage, but what if, I really like this deal. It's only 15 minutes from my house. I know the warehouse. Could we come in on the deal with you? They were like, yeah. Okay. Why don't we talk about it? We got the lawyers involved, signed a bunch of paperwork. They raised money, we raised a little money, and now we accidentally own a warehouse that we're in the process of refinancing and pulling all the money out.
So you get all the money back you invested?
All of it and a little more.
Yeah.
A little more on top, which I'm not paying taxes on.
This is the beauty of real estate.
Yep.
So, and remind me, I got a warehouse, if you like those warehouse deals, I got a warehouse guy in Philly.
I sold your warehouse.
He did sell. He sold my warehouse for 5 times what I bought it for.
Yeah.
And I told him there was no way he would find anybody to pay that. And now it's 38 condos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It wasn't easy because you're dealing with your partners, and you're dealing with the guy that bought it that your partners know, and it was a whole
ex-partners.
And I was in
ex-partners.
And I was in Aruba.
Yeah.
And I was in Aruba when this was going on.
Okay. Well, anyway, Mike gets it done. Actually, I will tell a couple things that Mike did. So I had a property management company, and I managed thousands of units, and I hated it. Property management is a tough business. It's a low margin business, and some people are great at it, and you should pay those people to be great at it.
Yep.
So I was probably having a cigar somewhere with Mike and complaining about it, and Mike's like, I can sell your property management business. And I'm like, who the hell will buy my property management business? And he said, not only, no, he sold it, and it was for millions, so and he got the person that bought it 100% financing to pay me the millions to buy my property management.
With the SBA.
Which I hated.
Yep.
So, Mike, you really, I know we haven't even used the term creative. Creative financing, I wouldn't say. But, it's hard for me to even, I have to call you once in a while to just be like, tell me something new,
We were sitting down, and it kind of just hit me because what we mostly talk about is just investing in real estate. We talk about different markets, ideas, and it's all it all comes down to one thing, just kind of sales and buying real estate. And then it kind of hit me why are you wasting time on management? Every time I'm with you, you get a call. This is broken. There's a problem here. This tenant's not paying. Issue here, issue there. And these problems are sort of stressing you out, costing you time and money. Your real money maker is buying real estate, selling real estate, not in management. Get rid of this garbage. And it's not really garbage. It's a big money maker, but it's for someone
It's for somebody else.
that only manages.
Yeah.
If you're going to be managing the largest management company in the city, that's all you should be doing. Stay in your lane and just do that.
Yeah.
Do not get involved where your full-time job is selling real estate and you're managing on top. It's just not, it doesn't work.
Yeah. No, this is great advice, and I think it's great advice that Mike gave me then. And you know, it's opportunity cost. Where do you make the most money in your life, like doing? You know, there's things in your life. Now I'm going to get a little, I don't know what you call this. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got, and it was from my coach, who I'll try not to shout out to him, Devin Bandits, in every podcast, was, you know, a lot of times we're all looking for something in our lives, but really, instead of like more, we need less, and we need to say no to things.
Yep.
And saying no to things will open up things. So at that time, I was busy with this, and I needed to say no to it so that I could say yes to other opportunities. And I can tell you many times in my life that happened where when I said no, a whole world of possibilities open up. So there's some things in your life that you need to say no to. It could be a relationship. It could be business. It could be whatever. It could be your friends. You need to say no, because when you open that up, other things will come to you that are going to be better. So thank you, Mike, for that. That was a life-changing event.
Yeah.
A couple of your events that you've done for me were life-changing events. But going back to, you know, it's hard for me to tell. I basically feel like if somebody talks to me, they should always talk to you, because there's something you can help them with.
Yep.
So let me ask I'll try to do a couple real estate more related questions, and then I'll get in some fun questions. So, you know, you mentioned that you loan money, hard money. Not everybody knows what hard money is. I'm going to explain it. Well, no, I'll let you. You said that in that instance you charge, 13% interest and, you know, some points, 3 points.
3 points, whatever, yeah.
Okay. So that's like 16% interest per year, right?
Yes.
Why would I ever borrow money from you and pay that kind of rate?
Yep. So that's a great question. It is once you're a real estate investor for a while, it's very important to build a relationship with.
Hold on, we have a Martian, or no? This is the guy on billions, right?
Oh yes.
Hey, we got the guy from Billions. What's his name again? I forget the actor.
What's your name?
Corey Stoll's here.
Come here, say hi. Come over here, say hi.
You know. That's why he's like, no, I'm not getting on. So anyway, this is a mastermind. We sent everybody else to the beach, but this is not a good beach day. Definitely not. But
I think it's a great beach day because I don't really want to get pounded by the sun.
Well, you also came from Philadelphia.
That's also true. That is also true. Yeah.
So okay, explain to me why I would pay you 16% interest to borrow money.
When you get into real estate, you wanna start building relationships with banks. And banks are great. I mean, that's how you leverage, real estate. Is you get money from banks. But sometimes an opportunity comes up where you are able to purchase a property locally or just a steal of a deal, and the seller wants to sell it to the cleanest offer. And what hard money allows, which is one of the biggest reasons people use hard money, is they want to get the deal done fast. And with a bank, just no matter what, something comes up, and it could take 2 months to finance a commercial deal with a bank. A hard money guy or a private money guy that you have a relationship with, you can close a deal in like 10 days. You got to get title done and you close because they know you and they just give you money. I do some hard money for people that I have a relationship with. Majority of the funding that we do is for small businesses without collateral, which we can dive into if you'd like, which is like the term loans that I was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. The hard money stuff is for relationships only, and it's local.
Okay.
We will not go outside.
We're not putting Mike on the spot that he's going to lend everybody money.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to explain, why people pay that. And look, my students, we all use it in real estate. my thing is it's not the cost of money, it's the access to the capital.
Yep.
If you can make $100,000 on a deal and you got to pay him 20, you still make 80.
Yep.
If he doesn't give you the money, you don't make any money.
Prime example, somebody wants to unload their property for $300,000. You run comps, it's worth $400,000. If you fix it up a little bit more, it might be worth $450,000. The tenant's leaving, you're going to raise the rents, and the rents are going to skyrocket. So you're buying a property with a ton of upside, and the hard money lender is going to cost you, say, 13%. The bank is going to cost you 7%. You're overpaying a little bit, but you're pretty much guaranteed, not guaranteed, but your offer is going to be way more solid when you're like, hey, I can close in 2 weeks. And the hard money lender is going to help you close your deal.
Right. So, if I'm a seller, I'm looking at the deal, I go, oh, this guy that has to get a loan from a bank and has all these contingencies,
Yep.
or this guy that's got hard money and basically it's cash.
Title close.
Yeah.
It's a cash offer. It's basically a cash offer.
Yeah. I mean,
Title
and a
close.
lot of people, I hate this when you're buying my property, but I hate when somebody is using hard money but makes a cash offer,
Yep.
no contingency, and then you go to closing and they're like, oh, but I don't have my hard money loan's not ready. I'm like, what are you talking about? You didn't have that in here.
They're setting the wire at 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah. All right. So no more than 3 minutes, and then we're going to get into fun stuff. Tell us about this small business loan thing that you do.
So just like hard money, there is something parallel to that in small business funding. I recently, I talked about this earlier, so I'll give you maybe another example. We have a dentist in Tennessee. They have a pretty successful business. They've been open. It's a husband and wife. They've been open for a couple years, over 2 years. They are doing about $50,000 a month in cash flow, in gross sales, which is like it's a pretty good business. Their problem is that they're billing insurance. Most of their clients are insurance, and somehow they all got stuck with this local insurance company, and this insurance company pays out like in 3-4 months. So you come in for like a tooth cleaning or I don't know, a root canal or whatever the hell you're coming in for. They're doing it today. They have to pay the assistant. They have to pay like the employees, but they're not getting paid for 3 months, which is a disaster. So they call me. They're like, "Hey, we need to borrow some money. We have to make payroll."
Now, why? Yeah, it's a disaster.
We have to make payroll this Friday.
Yeah.
I got to buy like new Novocaine to numb this guy's tooth. I don't got money for anything because I haven't been paid in months.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I go, listen, can I give you some advice here?
Only people call you
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I go,
you're the
can
only person I know.
Can
that
I
gets
give
those
you
calls.
some advice? Like, yeah. I go, do you have anybody that uses like an insurance company that pays on 30 days? He said, yeah. I said, well, why don't you like tell these patients that you can't accept this insurance because it's going to put you out of business? Well, that's a good idea. Okay. Why don't you get into some stuff like, I don't know, tooth whitening or some, something else where it's some cash too, like some cosmetic stuff too. Yes, that's a great idea. They're expanding into that, but you need money for all that. So they needed money also. It was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. They needed money for Friday. We were able to get them a $100,000 term loan in like 24 hours. It was expensive, but they're a high margin business, and they got their money, and they ended up like not closing. I mean, they wouldn't close their doors, but it would just be a problem.
Yeah, no, I mean.
So we ended up getting the money fast. And that's the thing about this hard money thing or private money is you get the money fast. There's way less red tape.
Yep.
Yep. And so that's one of the things we do is we help people. I guess we help them we're not really controlling cash flow because we're short term. We're a short term lender, but we solve problems. You need money this Friday or this Thursday for whatever reason, working capital, whatever it is, we get you money fast. That's kind of like the thing that I'm into now.
Okay, and I just want to mention, and he's not in the mob or anything. Do you even have a mob?
No.
Anymore?
We have a New York City office. No.
Okay.
No mob.
Well, hey, there used to be a mob in New York City. So anyway, but basically, if you're self-employed, cash is king and cash flow is everything. And you could be selling the best product and have terrible cash flow because the time that it takes from your sale to get paid is too long. And he can solve those problems. So, okay. All right, we're done. We're done with the business-related stuff. So I'm going to ask you a couple fun questions. Number one, what's your favorite drink?
With a cigar, a bourbon.
A bourbon.
Going out or just a social drink, tequila. And I've been. And by the way, so you got these like 3-4 tequila brands, right? Sponsored by celebrities, whatever. 1942, whatever. Like all these fancy tequilas, smooth, whatever. I am now on a journey to find tequila that is not sponsored by any celebrity that nobody knows for a quarter of the cost, just as smooth, with no sugar, with none of the nonsense added, just a good tequila. And I found a couple. And now my buddies are into it too. So now we're like having like tequila tastings to see like what tequila we like. So I've been really into tequila lately.
Okay, that's amazing. That was a good answer. I thought you were going to tell me, you're on a mission and it's led you to Mexico. And
No, not yet. So at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, by the way, somebody.
I knew it.
Yo, so look, I was reading this last night. So George Clooney, who's worth like, before his tequila, worth like, I don't know, $400 million, some bizarre number.
That's it?
This dude's like into tequila. This guy goes to Mexico, starts tasting all these tequilas, all this agave, whatever, comes up with his own tequila. He's now a billionaire because he's popular. He put his name to it. It's a good tequila. It's smooth, but like it became super popular. It's branded properly. He's a billionaire now.
That's amazing.
Over tequila.
That's amazing.
And it's not the best tequila, but George Clooney's a great actor.
Well, hey, that's the beauty of business. Okay. Next question. What's your favorite thing about Aruba?
So, I come from very bad weather. It's cloudy, it's raining a lot. And when I come here, I'm pretty much guaranteed no rain and no bad weather, except for when I came here a couple times and it was just pouring rain, which is unbelievable. Like
very rare.
I started yelling at the cabbie. I'm like, yo, what is going on here? Like, why is it raining? No, it rains 3 days a year. Like, it's raining right now. Like, I'm just that lucky? Yeah. 1% of the time.
It's 6 days a year.
Whatever.
Okay.
But I love the weather. And the other thing I like is the people are really nice. They're very nice people. They're relaxed. They're on island time. They're chill. Nobody's in a hurry.
Island time again.
And I've expected. And I already expected. So when I walk in a restaurant and I say, hey, can you grab me a water? I already know it could take 10 minutes. It's fine.
First off, island time comes up. I was in Miami last week with my wife, and we went to Komodo. And, Komodo, I can't believe people are still going there. But anyway, not that I'm knocking it, but, things get cool for a while, and then they get uncool. But we sat down, and from the minute we sat, we had appetizers, the entrees, and dessert, and the check in 50 minutes. I mean, the level of service. Now, non-Americans that watch this will tell you, well, who wants to be rushed out like that? Not like a Dutch person. They like to sit and enjoy. Yep. That's a different culture. And look, 50 minutes too fast, right?
Yeah.
But they had like 7 people working the table.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Okay, this one just came to mind because you brought up the Russian thing and have you ever been to Russian karaoke?
I think we've done one at the we've had like drunk games at the house where we've done karaoke like ourselves.
No, you never went to.
I know which one you're talking about.
You never went?
Because you went and you told me about it.
Oh, I never.
I haven't went. No, it was on Bustleton somewhere.
Yeah,
one of those. Yeah, I've never been to that one. But I heard
Man,
it. Yep.
It was. If you were there, I wouldn't remember you.
Yeah. It's a fun
you never
time.
went to.
No.
Oh man,
no.
This was one on a Tuesday night. That was nothing better. All right. Last question. What is, and it can be personal or business, what is the most exciting thing that you are planning to do in 2024, business or personal?
Okay. So
have another baby? Sorry.
I have some goals.
I said that for your wife if your wife watches.
I have some goals. I always tell her we're, maybe number 3, and she said it's not up to me. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you. So over the last 20 years, I have learned where success comes from. And you will be the happiest and most successful if you help others. The more people you help, the more successful you'll be, and the happier you'll be. People come up to me like, "Oh, it's $1 billion lottery. It's $1. You can win the lottery and get $1 billion." I'm like, if I get $1 billion, I'm donating 99% of it, or I lose my fucking mind. I can't have $1 billion in my bank account. Like, I'll lose my mind. But if I help others, I will not lose my mind. And I'm not saying I'm going to give it away in a day. But my goal is to help as many people as possible, whether it's personal, whether it's business. I have friends, I have acquaintances that are, personally fucked up or in good places. I have people in businesses that are fucked up or in good places, and my goal in 24 is to help as many people as possible.
Wow.
You like that?
Wow. Listen, it really sits with me well because one of the incantations, not affirmations, that I make every morning is that, you know, that I want, you know, I am abundance, and I want abundance to flow from me,
Yep.
you know, to others and through me. And when I wake up in the morning, and when I started, I was not always like this. You know, I was after the dollar for many, many years.
Mhm.
You know, when you don't expect something and you're just serving people,
Yep.
man, you know, I used to watch people on probably podcasts say this, and I thought it was bullshit. But things will happen to you that now, to the point that I expect that they will happen to me. They're not going to happen right now, and I don't do them to get them, but they will happen to you.
Yep.
Because you're really serving other people. Know, especially in this day and age, people know if you're trying to make a buck on them or if you're really, you know, serving them. And wow, Mike, we could not have ended the podcast any better. I'm super grateful. I'm glad that I can ruin your beach time in Aruba.
No, this is great.
You know, with that, we're going to end. Thank you for watching the Real Estate Doctor podcast, and everybody have the best day of your life.
Thank you.